brands, and especially talk about the coffee brands. One brand we talked about was Starbucks. There are a couple of other brands I wish to cover in next couple of days. So we'll start the video in a while. In the meantime, I'll just talk about the ambience of this place. This is Pret, and they have beautiful logo. So the point of contention here is for coffee lovers. Coffee is not just sipping coffee. Coffee is much more in terms of the international brands. When we talk about FDI, it's basically not only the ambience, the food, and everything. And particularly, what I love about here is it is freshly baked. The croissant is really good. Cappuccino is really to the point in terms of the kind of I would say the tasting. When you do the tasting and all, you will understand the difference. I agree to the point that there are a lot of Indian brands which are working towards this mandate of being a good coffee brand. I mean, of course, you go to South India, anywhere and everywhere, I would say the aroma of the cafe itself is so good. So that cannot be compared with what we get internationally. And the good thing is, all these international brands, and particularly when you are in our city, which is very near to the Indira Gandhi airport, the terminals, whether it's T1, T2, T3, it's quite accessible. And the good thing about Pret is it is spacious. I mean, you can just use the internet to reply to your emails. Of course, these stores in our city are not 24/7, but the point of contention here is that the flexibility Air City provides to the consumer is much more than any other place because it is near the airport. And as far this industrial design is concerned, so basically the labeling is CPLA, and I'll talk in detail about this. GDT 82N71, and this is TM vending, which means at least it shows TM vending. We have to look into the application status and see whether the trademark is pending for this brand or not, which is in Geo. However, I see somewhere it is written registered also. So basically, there is falsification of trademarks in India. Let me explain you in very simple words. When we say and talk about falsification of trademarks, is the word TM can only be used till the time the trademark is not granted or registered by the Indian Trademark Office. That's what the law says. However, if we see the Trademark Act, which was enacted in 1999, 90 to 95% of the brands are not going through the said laws. However, what is happening here is that is one reason, at least it is, again, I'm not representing the organizations I work with. This is my understanding as an international trademark attorney, lawyer, whatever word suits anyone from the understanding point of view, that if some brand is utilizing or in a circle and TM simultaneously, that is an offense. And when something is an offense, and the point of contention here is, can we give the power to the common man in terms of anybody and everybody in India, seems to be a lawyer in terms of, just going through a little bit of data set and saying, hey, I understand law, I understand trademark. There is a big difference between a lawyer, a chartered accountant, and a company secretary. However, this whole trademarking thing has become a very big mandate, and especially in last couple of years, because intellectual property rights provides the government of any country capital. I mean, it's real capital. However, in US, that is United States of America, Elon Musk is against intellectual property rights, and there are many forces which are stating that let's get done with intellectual property rights. We don't need intellectual property rights in the new world order. Why it is so? Because in this new world order, a brand has to talk to the consumer or the customer. I don't know how many of you have ever visited Indonesia, Vietnam, or any of these countries. When you are in a place called Bali or Indonesia, you will realize that whatever their currency is, I mean, just to have this cup of coffee, you have to pay around probably 10,000 or 15,000 currency, or that is the fiat currency. So automatically the person starts to feel rich. Now the question mark here is, when you read the historical books. I studied from Delhi, that is New Delhi. My hometown is Delhi. I am born and brought up in Delhi. For the matter of fact, a lot has been said that Britishers have taken this from India. But accounted and unaccounted, it's not the Britishers. I mean, this piece of land, this fertile piece of land, from time immemorial, even if you go back to 5,000 years, if you take out any archaeological book also, this land has been fertile. And I would not say that Britishers have taken anything from India in terms of, okay, they must have taken something, but it was a barter system. And one thing is very important. If we say Britishers have done this, then why people are even visiting United Kingdom or United States of America? Just be in India, just be in this piece of land. So you have to take you can't be sailing on both the boats. You have to make a call. However, honestly, the current generation has no clue how life was in 1980s and early 1990s and the recessions and everything, and what Manmohan ji did at that point of time as a finance minister, getting FDI into India. FDI means foreign direct investment, and foreign direct investment is very important for this country to grow. If the tech is not coming to India, then how will people prosper? How will people understand the dialect? What is the strength of India in terms of SWOT analysis is unity and diversity. I mean, in Delhi itself, if you visit, if I just say Delhi as North Delhi, West Delhi, East Delhi, South Delhi, for whatever reasons, then we have something called as Central Delhi. Let me tell you, if you have any cognizance of the lay map or the map of Central Delhi, that is basically the architectural framework of Dambulla. Dambulla is a place in Sri Lanka, and the historical data sets are totally different between India and Sri Lanka. In Sri Lanka, Sita is daughter of Ravana, and in India the story is altogether different. So even just understand this impact. I mean, for the longest time, we have been, under the impression that, that this happened this and that happened that. I have been staying in Sri Lanka. I mean, I was, for me, month of December, I have stayed in Sri Lanka in 2019, in 2018, and working with ITU, that is International Telecommunication Union. I'm very, I would say, I take pride in terms of, I have worked with BJP, I have worked with Congress, because clearing the Indian Patent Agent exam in 2006, then the recession setting in and all that stuff, it was the current government which actually signed off the documents through which I could even visit Sri Lanka and work with 140 plus telecommunication people and understand the nuance of how telecommunication has to work in this world. That is very, very important. I don't know why people are diverting the topic, and at the same point of time I was called upon by China government, which again I feel very I won't say I have worked for it. I mean, it's not that China just called upon me and not other people. If they selected me, there is a good reason for me to be selected, and representing our country, which accounted, unaccounted, whatever the population is. One thing we need to understand: India and China are the biggest superpowers right now. Even in terms of, like, China has a lot of land. I mean, there are cities which are ghost cities in China. India, again, because it is surrounded by sea, it is going through the crisis right now because there is tilt of the axis of the earth, and because of that, so much destruction is happening, especially in the belt, which is near to the sea. We are witnessing so much destruction right now. However, with telecommunication, this is happening in real time, and in many ways, there are proactive steps which are being taken. I'm also a CERT. CERT is basically a cybersecurity professional who is able to gauge the online data set and inform the international cybersecurity people to mitigate the risk in real time. Again, that is very important. So the point of contention here is, as an individual, whosoever is watching this video, what are we doing with our own lives in terms of, maybe you might be watching from India or any part of the world, because now AI is not a fallacy. AI is real, and again, this is change which is happening, and the new world order is to upskill yourself and get into the gig economy. Now, what is gig economy and full-time employment? Honestly speaking, in the full-time employment, if you're not upscaling yourself, you will be replaced, or you are already replaced. Just giving fiat currency to anyone and everyone is never going to resolve the issues. Blockchain was never to do with blocking any block or doing anything with the chain. Blockchain was always about honesty, and being honest is, I would rather say, it's difficult 24/7. But if you're, first of all, you have to be honest with yourself. Once you're honest with yourself, you train your mind to be honest with others also. There are times you might not like talking to your own folks in terms of blood relation. There would be time where you would feel that, why this is happening to me. But that is what blockchain is all about. I mean, cryptocurrency was never to make people rich. If cryptocurrency has made people rich, it has, it is kind of a devil which is spoiling the current era. So the intention here is FDI has to be there. And China has realized this very early. The Indian government, the state governments, all the stakeholders who are in a position to take the decision should take the decision and work in coalition. Our biggest strength is the united way of working. I mean, in one organization also, we have people from everywhere. I mean, I studied in army school. My early schooling is from army school. And army training is very different from a civilian training. And then I went to convent. That is another discussion on another day. But what is important here is to understand and appreciate the fact that FDI is giving employment. If FDI is not there, it will be very tough for the Indian economy to thrive. And the inflation and everything, that is something, the corrupt people need to realize. However, somehow I feel at least Delhi, then Uttar Pradesh and Kolkata is not able to thrive because they don't allow the parties to venture out, but at the same point of time, their IT cell is very strong. And that is a good thing. If the current government is not giving land because they are saving the Mother Earth, somebody has to save Mother Earth. And that is a request. I mean, it's very easy to buy a paper bag for whatever fiat currency one wishes to do so. However, what is important here is to understand is a very simple thing. United we stand. It's nothing to do with Britishers. If somebody doesn't like them, please don't go there. If or any other country for that matter. But targeting Britishers that they did this to our country, do your factual check again. What we see is not the reality. I'll give you a very simple example before I sign off on this topic. Father of nation is Mahatma Gandhi ji. However, in the books, at least in CBSE, it was written Porbandar, and I was very intrigued by the obviously Mahatma Gandhi ji and other stuff which I don't want to discuss in detail, but I made a point to visit that place. And when I visited that place, I got to know he was born, like he belonged to a very rich family, first of all, and his house name is Kirti Mandir, and Sudama, who is friend of Krishna ji, his temple is also very nearby. I mean, within 100 meters or 200 meters, Sudama's station is there. Station in terms of his existence. So the point is, it's very easy to read things in book and come to conclusion. But when you go there and see it for yourself, then you understand and use your own brain cells to understand a particular situation. Don't jump guns to say that this happened and that happened. If you were not present at that point of time in that situation when those things were happening, don't comment on that. That is what is my takeaway from this. Thank you for watching out the video. Have a great day ahead.